Y'all know I did my first watch of the OG show. We did weekly reviews of the new show on the podcast. And we actually have an interview dropping in 2 days with one of the people who worked on it. But now that I'm on this kick and still need a fix, here's a new weekly series I call Watching X-Men Evolution because 97 is gone. Well, waiting for season 2. All I remember about this show, aside from it being the cartoon companion to the Fox movies, is that no matter what happened, good guys, bad guys, no one was allowed to do anything basically between 7 a.m. and 2 p.m. because everybody got to go to school. Remember that little fact for the remainder of this review and other parts I do later down the line if this goes well. Even Mystique, who's the principal of the school, so even she can't cut up till she clocks out. Few episodes in, you quickly realize Principal Darkholme ain't even a disguise anymore. That's just who she code switches into around her coworker. Is Mystique a black woman in this show? Only other time I've seen this done is Ultimate Spider-Man when Coulson gets placed as the principal at the Young Avengers school to keep an eye on Peter and his friends. And then for the remainder of the series, he is more stressed out and bothered by balancing school budgets and bake sales than he is by Avengers level threats.
I need the full power of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s legal team stat. We need to limit how much actual meat you need to legally call something meatloaf. We can save the budget, man.
Alright, we just gonna call this first season New Mutants on the Block because every episode we meet somebody new and it's just Charles and Magnus fighting for full custody. From what I do remember of this show, I'm convinced Professor X and Magneto were just pimping these poor orphans for government checks to fund the mansion and Asteroid M. Especially because if you see where Magneto's team is living, it definitely looks like the trap house from Gucci Mane's first album cover. Starting off, the most unrealistic thing about this pilot is when the football players leave mid-game to go bully Toad under the bleachers. Not even the part immediately after where Scott accidentally blows up a bunch of stuff. So after Toad and Nightcrawler get into it, Scott basically turns into a D1 coach trying to get a 5-star recruit by promising him a comfy home, free food, and a chance to whip this shiny black vehicle. Next up on the mutant draft is Kitty Pryde. So nobody on this show takes no for an answer because her parents straight up slam the door in Charles' face and he gets right to plotting on her front porch. Like they are definitely still in earshot when he tells Jean, hey, just go catch her at school. We also get to meet more ops this episode as we get a peek at the on-site beef between Sabretooth and Wolverine, as well as Professor X in a flight of stairs. No, I'm not joking, take a look.
Whatever obstacles get in the way, remember, they can be overcome. Though some obstacles are more irritating than others.
So Kitty and Avalanche try to steal some test answers, and then when they get caught, his solution is to level the whole building with her family inside it. Charles and Jean, probably somewhere on standby waiting for this to go horribly wrong, rush in, save the day, and then basically give Kitty's parents the whole "see why she needs to come with us" speech. Second round of the draft concludes and the X-Men acquire Kitty Pryde, the Brotherhood gets Avalanche, and guess where they both end up? At the same high school. Again. Which, saying that out loud, I am just now realizing
she doesn't even go here!
Jean just spent an entire episode and school day wandering a campus that she don't even go to.
You, don't know anything, and neither does that creepy guy out there. Who, Lance? Forget about him.
She doesn't know either of these people right now, but spied on both of them long enough to learn Avalanche's name and diss him to her advantage. Her and Charles really are a slick-ass tag team. By the way, all these absences on her record do kick in later on. Next up on the mutant draft, we have Rogue. And instead of just saying, I'm your mama and I'm here to come pick you up, Mystique decides to impersonate the X-Men and terrorize Rogue so that when the real ones come to get her, she'll be too scared to go, and according to her, this is what Logan sounds like. Anyway, this works, and then Mystique and Magneto, who by the way is played by Kratos, end up recruiting Rogue to the same high school she was going to end up anyway if she joined the X-Men. Fourth round of the mutant draft, we have Blob, recruited by Mystique. You guessed it, to the same high school. No onboarding or home training either. Like right after the opening credits, she gives this formerly sheltered circus freak a school schedule and just sends him on his way into the teenage wilderness. And then it's Jean to the rescue by pointing him to his first period class and making zero mention of the boy he just deadlifted or the lockers he just folded in half. We're just gonna ignore that part. It's Bayville High. Things like this happen all the time. The conflict of interest continues when a day after chasing her through the streets and onto the enemy team, Rogue and Cyclops now have to get paired up for an English assignment.
I gotta play a romantic scene with a girl who thinks we tried to kill her. Man, she's gonna have to be some kind of actress.
Yeah, see how all the outside mutant mayhem just goes out the window when you need each other for a passing grade? Anywho, Blob goes full King Kong on a skyscraper over Jean, team realizes they gotta jump him, and then it's Rogue from the top rope with the finisher, and yes, they're gonna go to class next episode like none of this just happened. Fifth round of the mutant draft, we have Battle of the Basketball Nepo Babies because we're now dealing with Spike and Quicksilver, and it's pretty obvious where both of them end up. Also, I know Spike was created specifically for this series, but I'm kinda sad we've never really seen any inkling of him since then. No, I am not counting that. So yeah, Quicksilver gets Spike arrested and Auntie Storm and the gang uses to recruit him to their team and transfer schools. And I guess Magneto is a proud dad seeing his son be a bully or out there on the court or both because within 5 minutes of Spike being there, him and Mystique then organize a basketball game last minute against Quicksilver in the school that Spike just transferred from, which nobody participates in because they get Quicksilver arrested before tip-off. Episode 6, we meet a Jumanji 2 version of Forge who's actually from the past and has been trapped in another dimension for 20 years. Nightcrawler gets trapped with him, they work together to escape, and at the end of the episode, Forge just walks off to a home that might not even be there anymore, and that was my introduction to this character. Last episode for this review, yeah, because of Charles' shenanigans, Jean gets kicked off a school field trip for having too many absences and then replaced by Rogue, which is all orchestrated by Principal Mystique, who then tries to kill Scott, who is then saved by Rogue, who then ends up joining the X-Men because of all this. And then, just because, Magneto pulls up to the mansion and basically grills Charles, asking him, now why you ain't tell them kids who their principal is? Also, just so he can do this petty ass move on the way out. My takeaway from this is that no matter what animated version of the X-Men you watch, reminding Charles that his legs don't work is a common Magneto move. Also, why was he trying to like hard reset the chair and put it in reverse Terry like that was gonna work? Alright, I'm gonna cut it here for this one. Y'all let me know if you want me to do more of these. If I did it at like this pace, it would end up being 8 parts. Jokes aside, I am genuinely having fun rewatching this show 2 decades later. And again, DreamCon, Chase Conley, who worked on X-Men 97, interview drops on Friday. Doing a premiere, so if you want to talk with us about it, live chat with us, XYZ, all that good stuff. It was honestly a great experience. Thank you, DreamCon, again for having us. And we're just looking to have fun with it, same way we did when we were reviewing the show. But for now, y'all be easy. God bless. I need to get back to these edits. I will see y'all next Monday or Wednesday.